everybody. It is Joy,
And
and
it's Tim, and we're here for Live and Found episode number 32.
today we're going to kind of just put things all together and talk about what happens after AI reaches confidence. So, for the last several weeks, we've kind of been building to this point of once AI is confident that you're credible, that you're an expert, then what?
Yeah, we've been talking about how AI is matured. We've talked about how it verifies to make sure visibility happens. And then last week we showed AI, reaching that confidence, the moment that it decides what to trust. So today we are answering what happens after AI reaches confidence.
And I guess the big question is, does it keep looking?
No, not like the people may think. It doesn't keep exploring endlessly. It actually kind of shifts. Well, it doesn't kind of. It does shift behavior, so it ends up changing from searching to comparing. So, when we mean by that, it stops looking for answers and starts measuring everything else against what it already trusts. And that's where we're at with the comparing. So right now, AI has stopped searching and now it's in the comparing mode.
Well, and we talk about this from time to time about um, how to make a connection with AI. I mean, you have to, I've said it a million times, you have to sell yourself to AI. And then once you've sold yourself, it believes that you're who you say you are and what you say you do, then the shift happens.
And that's the word you're looking for, alignment. That's the word. AI loves alignment. So if you say who you are, you prove what you do, and you show what you do, AI loves that. And that's where it reaches that confidence with you. And you become the business or the person it compares to everybody else. So you become, we used this analogy a long time ago, but you become the top of the mountain. And now AIs can compare everybody else to you. And that's where you want to be at.
And and that's definitely where you want to be at for 2026, because if you become the answer, the work for your competitors to get up the mountain analogy is significant. I mean, it's work to make connection with AI right now to become a credible response or answer. I mean, it's work, no joke. But once you're there, for your competition to knock you off, it's a ton of more work.
Yeah. Well, you got to think of it kind of like this. Once AI understands something, it locks it in, that becomes the starting point of being found. And now everything else is judged on its own, or everything's not judged anymore on its own. It's judged against you and the person at the top of the mountain. So confidence doesn't stop evaluation, but it changes how evaluation works and how it proceeds.
Well, and you think about the speed at which this all takes place. That's what's so mind-blowing. That's why your your information has to be structured, because AI is not going to take time to figure it out. And when we talk about structured data, it's the way AI reads your information, and if you have it in their format, that's just a check for you, so AI can parse the data quickly.
Exactly. You want everything to be aligned. You want your schema to look good. You want your website to be short, sweet. When you do an about page, you want to make sure that in the first 25 words, you say who you are, what you do, and where you're at. That's the kind of stuff AI is going to skip if it has to look further than it wants to. And so being aligned and being, quick, because think of it like this way. As a person, you don't want to have somebody give you an elevator talk and have the first 15 seconds of that elevator talk be just fluff. You want to know boom, 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 and let's go on and see if we make a connection. That's exactly how AI looks and works.
Well, and then when it's comparing, let's say you're the answer or the reference, not necessarily the answer, but the reference point. What is AI comparing? How does that work? How does that break down?
Well, what they're doing is you've aligned and you have met the criteria that AI is looking for, but it's still going to go out and it's still going to try to lift little bits of information from other places to see if you are confirmed as the expert or if somebody's more of an expert. It's a process. It's quick and it's fast to us, but to AI, it's very meticulous and it's very I don't want to say time consuming, but it's very meticulous so that it looks and doesn't check things off like a checklist, but it goes through things and makes sure that you are aligned.
Well, and during this process, what we get a lot of questions about and what people want to know is, why doesn't my business show up?
Well, I think part of the reason why it doesn't show up is you're not giving the same message. You're not giving the same identity from place to place. You're giving different claims, inconsistency we just talked about, and just being purely misaligned. So the bottom line is that AI evaluates for the answer and tries to figure out, is it stronger? Is this just noise, which is huge for AI? If it feels like it's noise or it's fluff, it's going to skip you every time. And it also looks to make sure you're not an outlier. That's huge again for AI. It wants to make sure that you are consistent and that this one message is not an outlier to your overall scheme of what you're doing. So AI, what it does is it tends to protect what it trusts, but it adjusts if something more consistent and better supported comes along. And that's what you have to really guard against, is making sure once you have been that or become that trusted source, that you keep reinforcing that across everything that you do.
Well, and an example, like we research industries, people in the industries, and one of the things that come up and what I see for women is their name change. And they might have 3 variations of their name in things, in a directory, in their blog, or on their website, or on their Google My Business profile, or an article they wrote, or wherever. To AI, that's inconsistent. So it might be, and I'll just use my name because I've changed my name a bunch. When I got married, I didn't change my name for 11 years. And then when I had my kids, I changed my name to Joy Morales Kress. I had that so I was married 11 years before I ever changed my name. Then I changed my name for 20 years. During that 20-year period, I did a lot of writing. I did a lot of videos, a lot of creative stuff with my married name. When I got divorced, I went back to my maiden name, Joy Morales. So I had Joy Morales Kress, back to Joy Morales. Now I've gotten recently remarried, and I want to change my name to Joy Johnson. Here's the problem with AI. I have stuff from Joy Morales. I have stuff from Joy Morales Kress. I have stuff from Joy Morales. And then I'm going to have stuff from Joy Johnson. Do you see how AI can make it? I wouldn't be credible, or there would be trust issues if I didn't get my name consistent across the board.
And that's huge why things behind the scenes like schema becomes so much more important, especially if you're looking at taking lawyers, for example. Let's go another route. if your firm decides to add another member or another partner, or if the business changes from, Johnson Heating and Plumbing to Johnson and Son Heating and Plumbing, or Johnson and Moynihan Heating and Plumbing. I mean, that's huge that you get these items aligned early. So if things do change, AI can adapt and adopt and say, oh, they did this. And you explain, we did this because AI loves that, because AI doesn't it doesn't switch easily. It does reinforce what it understands unless something does force it to reconsider. So you don't want to force it to reconsider. You want to have an explanation and a path that AI can follow so that you continue and consistently remain the
Well, and the last point on that is once you have that spot secured, own it.
Own it, and it's your hill. Everybody says, "Is this the hill you wanna die on? Is this the hill you want to fight for?" This is your hill. This is the hill you want to fight for to be the top of the AI search results. Because once you are trusted, AI needs a good reason to doubt before it replaces what it trusts. So when you're on top, that's what you want. You want to be the point where AI says, I don't doubt what Joy is saying. I don't doubt what Tim is saying. So it's very important that you get that path and you just keep working at it.
Well, and what we're trying to say from a business standpoint is it's gold. It is going to convert into business. And what we mean by that is if somebody puts in a question, best electrician in Colorado Springs for new construction, and you're that answer, people are going to trust the answer and call. And that means business. So when we say own that spot, own it, because it's gold.
And you want to keep reinforcing it. Don't rest on your laurels.
Yes.
Keep reinforcing it. Because I think one of the things, the biggest difference between SEO and Google and AI is Google, once you get to the top on that first page, it takes a lot to knock you off, but it takes a long time to knock you off. AI, it takes a lot of work to get to the top of the search, but if somebody comes along that's a little better expert or a little more of an expert, or more importantly, shows that they are, they're going to knock you down. AI is very fluid in that kind of action.
Well, it's always learning. So before we wrap up, let's talk about AI and Reach. It's coming up.
Yep, April 21st. On our website, there is a place for you to sign up for it. We're going to talk more about how AI searches for you, and we're going to break it down into 4 very important parts: your website, your postings, and et cetera, like that. It's on our website. Make sure you go to it, sign up. It's going to be great. It's a lunch and learn. You bring the lunch, we'll bring the learn.
And we really want to encourage business. Although we work in certain industries, we want to share with businesses why it's important in 2026, the urgency of it, the structure of it. It's going to be 2 hours of helping small business be found by AI. So please make time, register, bring your lunch, and we're going to get busy on AI search.
Right. So to wrap it up for today, last week was about how AI understands. This week is how AI protects. Are you just present, or are you the source of everything that AI is using to compare to? So that's important. So AI doesn't keep searching. Once it understands, it starts comparing everything else to what it already trusts. And the goal is to make that you.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Take care.